see. It's nothing. There's nothing on which that is Peace. What about now? Hmm. Peace. What about now? I'm good now. Y'all can hear me? Y'all can hear me? Hit me with a one and y'all can hear me. Hit me with a one. Tell me y'all can see the screen too. All right. All right, I don't know what the hell just happened, but visual is good too. All right, good. Oh boy. All right. Let's listen. Every time I do this topic, right? Every single time I do this topic, yo. All right. Yeah, it's back on. All right. So we was talking about the word more. And my wife and I went to the British Museum. And at the British Museum in London, they had this still called a Palero still. And the title of the word more meant one of the high priests of Anu, or the title of the high priest of Anu. They was called Moors. So this is the origin of the term Moors, as they acknowledge Anu, who is also shown to have been the Sumerian god Anu, all right, who was originally worshipped in Egypt, or Kemet, or Tamaray, or Tameri, all right? So we broke down on the board also the science of the origin of the word more, and we showed you, hopefully y'all can see the board, shit. All right, and we showed you that you got M-O-R, M-U-U-R, M-A-U-R, all right? And then we have M-E-R-U. And from M-E-R-U comes the word what we now use, which is America. Okay? Which is now called America. But it was called Amaruka. And Maru is the same word as more. So when we have non-studious individuals who get on YouTube or get on Facebook or Instagram or anywhere else and say that they're not Moors, then they actually are saying that they're not Americans. Because the word Meru, which means more, is embedded inside of the damn word. I hope y'all getting this. You know what I mean? I hope y'all really getting this. Because I'm here to destroy that nonsense that Negroes are going now back to talk about they Indians. But they call themselves American Indians. So you're a Moorish Indian? Because once again, if you say you're American, the word American is derived from the word M-E-R-U, Meru, which is more. And then the Moors were ancient Egyptian, which Prophet Noble Ali already stated that he was an Egyptian to death. Meaning he was a high priest of Anu. And the high priest of Anu is the same as the title Grand Sheik within the temple, or Grand Sheikess within the temple. So high priestess, high priest. So you're in the land of the high priest. You're in the land of Anu. You're in the land of the gods. You're in the land of the serpents. You're in the land of the immortals. That's what this means. Meru. Now, some of y'all got a problem with that. Well, that's because, once again, you're not studious. You got to study more. Prophet Noble Ali stated, when you study, and you study, or you can study, or you, at least what you thought you study more, study some more. That's what I do. I keep studying and studying until I exhaust all possibilities. You have to do the same thing. Now, you say that is not true, then let's look. Lenormand insisted that the human race issued from Upen Maroon. Theopompus tells us that the people who inhabited Atlantis were the people of Meru. As the Puritans brought the name Boston, Springfield, Northampton, York, etc. from Old England to New England, so the ancient eagles, Egyptians, and swans, Canaanites, came to Asia from a far distance, carried thither the American names Egypt and Canaan, etc. Here we go to the wonderful Ethiopians of the ancient Kushite Empire. Let's look at what Drusilla Houston says. She says this right here. In these primitive days, the central seat of Ethiopia was not Meroe, as one day, which is very ancient, but a kingdom that preceded it by many ages that was called Meru. So Meru was in Egypt or in Ethiopia, Kush, but Meru was also here in the Americas, as we just finished showing you, in which that was an extension of the ancient Egyptians here in the Americas. It says, Lament speaks of the first men of the ancient worlds as the men of Meru. So if you have Indian groups calling themselves the First Nation, and here we have Lenormand spoke of the first men of the ancient world. In other words, the oldest people on the planet Earth, they was called the men of Meru. The men of Meru. Keep going. The Meru of Indian literature was none other than the Meroe, Sheba of Sudan, a primitive Meru that would last, but that was long ago lost to cataclysm. The four kingdoms of Shaka was Manga, Makaska, Mansa, and Madega. All right. But what were these kingdoms? Meru. Now, this show you how they expanded into the Americas. Let's go down to the last paragraph. The Kushites and the first cousins, Kushite Mandi kingdoms line of the Olmec Asians traveled to the southeast of West Nubia, Sudan, and formed the ancient kingdoms of the Mayans, Inca, Arawak, Carib, and the Chicoquanina in South America. So here we have the extension of the Merus in the Americas. We look up the definition of the word American. an aboriginal or one of the various copper-colored natives found on the American continent by the Europeans, the original application of the name. Well, what's the original application of the name? It don't tell you in this definition. Right. Yeah, right, right. That's what they're saying. All right. But we know what they do. All right, so we keep going. All right, so here it is. Webster Universal Dictionary, 1937. An aboriginal or one of the various copper-colored natives found on the American continent by the descendants of European settlers. The following is the original application of the name Maru. Yeah, it's right there. Right there. The original application of the name of America, you see that, y'all? Or the Americans is Maru. 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 You see? You got to keep doing this. Because you got Negroes still saying the same nonsense, but can't read, obviously. So here we have the teachings of Ptah-hotep, the oldest book in the world. Here it is, the oldest book in the world. And they have the damn word Maru in the book. And it means the guardian. That's what the word Maru means, the guardians. So this is the land of the guardians. Wonder why the damn president is called the president. What's the title that he used? He's the president of the free world. Y'all heard that title before for the president? No, I'm talking about any president. That's what they call themselves, is the leader of the free world. That's what they call, that's what he's called. So he's saying that he's the guardian of the free world. Oh, there it is. Webster Dictionary and Thesaurus. More. And then it's have in parentheses, Meru or Mir. M-E-R is the word more. There it is. So if Meru is the original application of the name America, and it tells you that Meru is the same word as more, when your dumb asses say that you're not a Moor, you're saying that you're not American. So why are you using the term American Indian, dumbass? Why are you using Indian, Amerindian? You see how dumb you sound? You are Moors because you are American, and thus that's your nationality. It's simple. But no, you don't want to make it simple. You want to make it hard. Mere to more. Kemet until now. Read the book, the etymology, phonology, semantics, and morphology of the word more. So from mere to more. This is written by Brother Cosmo L. Yes, that we was already here and they found us. Yeah, you know what that is, God. Right. You right, of course, you know how they do. So Moors are just Americans. Here it is. This is what the word says. It says Moors are just American. This is a letter from the Evening Journal, Wilmington, Delaware, February 11th, 1972, page 22. Okay. Hold on, let me blow that up a little bit. There you go, God.
So they discovered us, but
right.
America came from the name
Americo Vespucci. This is what they told us, but that's not true because we looked up the word America, and it's from the ancient Peruvian word America, which this is the way in which that they spelled it. And when he came to the shores, all right, he asked the people what was the name of this place, and they said Pana Amaruca.
What's that website?
Pana Amaruka. And his crew gave him the name America, which became Amerigo. Because go and take your ass back to where you came from. Amerigo Vespucius. All right? That's where that came from. So his name actually was Albert. His name is Albertus. Alberto. All right? His name is Alberto Vespucius. Okay? Huh?
He was Capago.
I have no idea what he was. But we did find out that because Columbus was copper colored.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah. Yeah. So right here, Moreau is Maru. Moro is Maru. And it's spelled M-O-R-O. M-O-R-O is M-E-R-U. Or synonyms, keeping in mind that the vowels A-E-I-O-U-Y are interchangeable, thus more, or synonyms as well. Emphasizing the word Morican, the letter O is interchangeable with E for American, all right? And American, reference BW, Encyclopedia Herodica. And it says Morican being a derivative of more. Thus, American, Amorican, and Al-Moroccan are consistent. So they're saying that when we say Al-Moroccan, it's the same as Al-Murak or Al-Muruka, which is the same as we call Morocco. So you are Moors. If you say that you are American and you don't identify with Africa, as most of you Negroes are saying now, then you can't say that you're not American. Because then the only option would be that your monkey ass is African. If you say that you're not a Moor. Because the word Moor is embedded inside of America or Maruka, which is Maru, which we showed you, is in Webster Dictionary. The word Mir or Meru is the same as Moor. So Prophet Noble Ali was right in his act. The first Moors were black. All right, get this from What They Never Told You in History class by Indo-Kemet Kush. Not going to read that. Not going to read it. Get Destruction of Black Civilization, all right, by Chancellor Williams. And he speaks about the origin of the Moors. And he said the Moors are like the Egyptians because the Moors were the Egyptians. The Moors were the Ethiopians. They were the Cushites, the Hamite or Canaanite people, which Prophet Noble Ali told us about. Bingo, you got it, guy, right. In the circle 7, exactly. So once again, he was right and exact. And as a matter of fact, he goes further. He says the African blacks having this name taken from them must contend for recognition as Moors. Well, this is also for not just the African blacks, but the Negro blacks. The Negroes right here in America having even this name taken from them must contend for recognition as Moors. Because guess what? When you say that you're a Moor, in the court system, they don't like that shit. They'll put you on the terrorist watch list. At least that's what they claim they do. All right. But then they don't fuck with you. Right. They don't recognize you. And I already told you the reason why they can't recognize you is because we recognize them. Is the code here got it? Some I think they got the air on. Oh, okay. Because they got I think they got the air on. So right here, Blackamoor is an Ethiopian Negro. Why is Blackamoor Ethiopian Negro? And look at this. Black Moorian. Look at that. Oh shit. It tells you right here. Origin is Black Moor. Also Black Moorian. M-O-R-I-A-N. Moorian. As in put an A on the front of that on what you have. A Moorian. All right. Or in this case, Black Amorian. Black Moorian. C Moor. So Blackamoor, Black Moor, Black Moorian equals Moor. Now, if Moor isn't recognized, all right, and is on a terrorist watch list, then why is it still on the federal race classification code and the Massachusetts Bay Corps? Because right here, if you go to CDC, which is the Center of Disease Control website, and you put in the word Moor, it's a code for 667. You'll see Moor right there. So why is the word Moor in the federal race classification code if they don't recognize it? And that's what you say in court. Your Honor, excuse me, but according to the federal, you might not recognize it, but the United States federal government does, because Moor is 667 code in their code system. 667. So you might not recognize it, but right here in the federal United States, in the United States federal government, they recognize Moors. You see? So, and the code that they gave us is 667. Now, you go to the Massachusetts Bay Corps, and Moor is here. It's 1237-7. You see the word Moor right there. 1237-7. These are codes in which that you can utilize in order to verify that you are Moor and that you are indigenous to this land. Because guess what? They got all these other Indian names, and the word Moor is right there embedded in between all of those names. All right. So, for example, you get these particular names here. You got Creole, Indian, Turks. You come up, you got Turks, Indian, Creole, biracial. Then you got the word Moor, then mulatto. Why is Indian right there? Showing you that there's a difference between Indian and Moor, because Indians, there's a problem with that because that's a federalized term. When Christopher Columbus allegedly came here, right, of course, but you can't use that name. You can't use the word Indian. You know why? Because it's federalized. That means that they have their stamp on that name. This is why Indians are on reservations. Do you notice that Moors aren't on reservations? There's too many Moors. So they separated the Indians from the Moors. Put those fake ass Indians, most of them is fake. All right, matter of fact, more than 60% of them on the Indian reservation are Europeans. And they never doing much but trying to get casinos or try to get money. And that's real. The other 20 to 40% are the Native American. All right. But because they don't want to come outside of the United States federal government, they're going to keep being limited by their sovereignty. You can't be sovereign under somebody, because the master can do what he will to you. Right. That's slavery. Right. So Indians who's on reservations, that's the same mentality that they have. They are in slavery. They're not sovereign. They're not sovereign. You know what I'm saying? At least we are out and we putting our documents on the public record. You know what I'm saying? We get put on do not detain list. You see what I'm saying? We doing something in which they're saying, nah, we separating ourselves from your monkey ass. We ain't playing with you. You see what I'm saying? Right. We're not playing with you. Right. We're trying to do something for real here. Right. You know, we're trying to build nations for real. We're not trying to be up under your system. We're trying to be sovereign for real. Right. You see? So whenever you're saying that you're not a Moor, you're saying that you're not American. All right, right here, Heritage Restored. This is by Julius Rose and Dr. Layla Africa. Right here, many historians allege that the honor and credit went to Americo Vespucius, an explorer or exploiter. Christopher Colon, or you know who that is, Columbus, did not discover anything, nor did Americo Vespucius, nor did European names it. All right, so he didn't name America. The word America was developed from the Mechu Nechu name Meru. There it is. It's right there. Come and take a picture, guy. Come on, take a picture. You got to take a picture of this shit. You got to take a picture of this shit right here. So the word America was developed from the Mechu Necher name Maru. Maru. We just had that up there. Meru, which means more. You already verified that. What's the dictionary? That's why Negroes need to read. You gotta have more than just one book and try and take the fucking show on the road. So right here, the word America was developed from the Mechu Necher name Maru, which means leader, chief, ruler. The word America is how the Greeks call Maru, who pronounced it Amarukas, from the South American Indians, i.e. Tupac Amaru. That was Tupac's name, Tupac Amaru Shakur, which meant shining serpent. The word America bears no resemblance whatsoever to Americo Vespucci. The word is also borrowed by the Arabic language and is called Amir, meaning ruler, chief, governor, prince, etc. The European last corruption of the word Maru reads Maro. If Columbus or Cologne discovered America, why does Vespucci enjoys the credit and honor of having it named after him? The word Meru, which is Meri, where we get the word America, all right, equals chief, all right, director, overseer. And this, once again, is the reason why they say that the president is called the leader of the free world.
So
okay.
The only way they can deal with us is through common law, right?
Only way they can deal with us is what, guy?
Through common law, right?
Yeah. Right. And really you got to give them consent to do that. So by you saying that you're not a Moor, you're saying that you're not American, which we already proved that. Then you look up the definition of land. Inside the definition of land, it says in the most general sense comprehends any ground, soil, or earth whatsoever as meadows, pastures, woods, moors. So the word moors is embedded inside the definition of land, which means that moors and land are synonymous. It also means that they're interchangeable. So when you say moors, you're saying land. And in particular, the land on which that you're saying that you are more from is Amaruka. This is Amaruka. This is the land that you are saying that you are a Moor of. You're not saying that you're African Moor. You're not saying that you're Australian Moor. You're not saying that you're Indian Moor from out of India. Actually, the Indians. Okay? You're saying that you're from this land. So this is why the Albion don't want you to say that you are Moor, is because it ties you directly back to this land. You get this? It ties you back to Amaruka. It ties you back here. So why would they want you to say that you're Moor? Because they know next you coming for the fucking land. You coming for the land. You see? And remember, that's what they stole from you. And this is why they denationalize you every time they turn around. 100 years ago, you was a Negro. Oh, you little Negro slave. You just got out of slavery maybe just a few years ago. What we going to do with you? Then you became, that's 1900s now. By 1930, you was a colored.
Black.
You wasn't black yet. You was colored. Yeah, you was of the colored race. Right. You was a colored man.
That's what I'm saying. They give you whatever name.
Right. Then by 1960, they put James Brown out there and made you black and you proud.
Right.
So you went from Negro to colored to goddamn black. And then by 1984, they put Jesse Jackson's out in front of you. He said he's running for president, and he now comes up with the name African American. The shit don't kicks until 1990. By 1990, all of a sudden you Afro-American, African-American now. So here it is. If you had a nationality, why in the fuck in 100 years did they change your name 4 times? Because every 30 years you was getting closer to find out who the hell you was. Because Noble Drew Ali was on the scene in 1913. He didn't die until 1929. You see? By 1929, you should have known you was a Moor. If the people was in the proper position as they should have been, the Moorish information would have went out. Instead, it was hidden from the masses of the people because you had Masons who infiltrated the temples. And they infiltrated the temples to conceal the fact that you were Moors.
The European.
Yep. Not just the European Masons. You had these black Masons, these slave Masons, as I refer to them as. And these slave Masons made sure that you did not know that you was a Moor. Because they had people up in there hooping and hollering like they was in a goddamn church.
They're not free either, though.
Of course not. And they don't want to be free because they come under the Rockefellers. They are part of the same system as the Greek fraternities.
They're not free, so I don't understand.
All right? They part of the Boule. These are Masons. All right? Slave Masons. All right? There's a difference between Freemasons and slave Masons. I'm talking about slave Masons. There are Freemasons. I'm a Freemason.
So
I'm not concealing the guy. I'm not concealing
the one that's
the
concealing
truth.
the information.
Bingo.
Okay, gotcha.
One's concealing the information are nigger, slave Masons.
Well, that's concealed there.
They're concealing it. I'm revealing it.
Right.
Okay? Right. And I'm a Moorish Freemason.
Right.
There's a difference.
Right.
You have Prince Hall Masons, you have the International Masons, you have the Scottish Rite Masons, you have the York Masons, you have all of these different types of Masons, all within the various groups. Your European Masons. All these motherfuckers are concealing the truth from you.
Yeah.
When we come on the scene, all of a sudden everybody, oh yeah, we all Moors. Yeah, we know, motherfucker.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, right. We know. And we want to tell the truth about it.
Right.
All right. I'm gonna holler from the fucking damn hillsides of Alma Rock, which is America, you know what I'm saying, from the mounds all the way down to the streets of the ghetto. All right. So this is the reason why they don't want you to say that you're a Moor, because they know that the word Moor instantaneously ties you to land. Now, who told us this? This great man right here known as John.
In this country, searching for a nationality.
John Henry Clark.
And once we find our nationality and serve that nationality, we'll do for ourselves what needs to be done. All ethnic groups in this country understand.
Right. Now, what is it?
They got a
Hold
nationality.
on. Just in case y'all can't hear it, because I know sometimes the shit don't play.
In this country,
He said, in this country,
searching for a
we're searching for a nationality.
And once we find
He said, once we find our nationality
and serve that
and
nationality,
serve that nationality,
we'll do for
we do for ourselves what needs to be done. All ethnic groups in this country understands that they got a nationality. Because you answer to such stupid names such as Negro and colored and black,
you
have no nationality. This is John Henry Clark. Negro is not a nationality. Some old damn Portuguese told you an adjective and made a noun out of it. Color is not a nationality. Black tells you how you look, might tell you how you look, but it don't tell you who you are. The name of a people must relate instantaneously back to land, history, and culture. And anytime you call a people out of their name, name a people and fail to relate them back to land, history, and culture, then you calling them out of their name. That's just what it is. So Negro, black, and colored is not names in which that we need to be harping on. Neither is Indian. All right, neither is African American. All of these are fake ass titles and names. But guess what? If you want to go put your documentation on the public record and you use African American or Negro or Black or colored, nobody would say a word. You guess what? You ain't gonna no terrorists watch this. Oh, them niggas still sleep. Go ahead. We're gonna take that document from you. But when you say that you're more, no, we can't do that. We can't.
They got a block for others. So
Right.
you could do it.
Right. Oh, we can't do it. Oh, no.
They can't deny our nationality.
No, they're not supposed to. Not supposed to. But of course, they would try to do what they try to do because they don't want you to understand the science of nationality. Right. Anytime that you don't tie yourself back to land, history, and culture, then you have done a disservice to those people. Now, I just showed you that land is Moors is embedded inside the definition of land. So how can it be this? It's nothing more instantaneous than that. Think about that. The shit is inside the damn definition of land in the Law Dictionary.
Land.
Yeah, you look up land in the Black's Law Dictionary.
7th, 4th.
It don't matter. 3rd, 4th,
Yeah.
5th.
It's all in there.
Right. The word more is inside the definition. All right. So that's what we do understand, overstand. All right. So now let's get to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And the reason why he was important is because of a landmark case in which that proved our land connection. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, mother was Elizabeth Turner. She was married to John Drew. All right. Eliza Turner Quitman, she was a pure-blooded Washita Turner. John A. Drew Quitman, he was a full-blooded Cherokee. All right. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, I didn't tell anybody where I was born or who my parents were because I didn't want people to make a shrine out of the place or make over my parents like they done with Joseph and Mary. And understand what he means is because they was part of this landmark case. They was the owners of land. So the court ruled the heirs of Turner versus the United States. The heirs of Turner versus the United States. All right. United States Supreme Court case 191. The heirs of Turner versus the United States. And in that court case, Eliza Turner was given over 1,069 acres of land. And then the rest of her families, they had all the way up to over 10,000 acres of land. All of that came together with 68,886 acres of land. So almost 70,000 acres of land was shown and proved not to be part of the United States. And then the Empress was going to go for more acreage of land and prove that no, it's not just 70,000 acres of land. We talking about goddamn 30 million acres of land. And that would account for more than 13 states, all the way up into almost the whole of Canada. Right. You're talking about over 30 million acres of land, showing that the Louisiana Purchase was never purchased in 1803. That was a lie. The $15 million of gold in which that they was going to purchase, which was nothing more than barracks, a couple of barracks, and a couple of streets. Bourbon Street is one of them. But they're going to purchase a couple of streets and some barracks, military barracks. And that's what the $15 million of gold was for. Thomas Jefferson at that time gave his sentiments, all right, that it was a fraudulent land deal. The Louisiana Purchase was never purchased, all right? So, right here, Noble Drew Ali's mother played an important role in this history. She was a part of the landmark court case of the Freemans and women who won land in Louisiana that belonged to and ancestors of theirs. Yeah. Her father Henry Joseph Turner. The land case in which they be talking about was the heirs of Henry Turner versus the United States. She was the empress of the Washita Turner family. Eliza Turner was, thus making Noble Drew Ali a crown prince. All right? Huh?
It was very wealthy.
Supposed to be.
Supposedly.
The court case, the United States versus the heirs of Henry Turner, case 32, United States Appellate Court in 1850, was an appeal to an earlier case won by the heirs of Henry Turner called the heirs of Henry Turner versus the United States case 191. That's the one I was just talking about. In the first case, the heirs of Henry Turner won land in Louisiana. Among them was Eliza Turner and John Kitts Quitman, aka John Drew. The case dealt with land left by the Marquis de Maison Rouge to his son by a black woman named Annie Maria or Annie Maria. The Turners won the case. The United States appealed the case and lost. This occurred in 1850 and was also one of the events that was a precursor to the Civil War. So that's the reason why the Civil War occurred, because we owned the South. And you couldn't allow the niggas to own the South. Matter of fact, they took our damn flag, as a matter of fact. That Southern flag that they always telling you about, that they harping that they love so goddamn much, that's our flag. That's when you seen in Wakanda, when they do like this is the Osarian. Right, they said Wakanda forever, but this is Osar. This is Osar. This is Osiris right here. This means resurrection. That's what this means. This means resurrection. Okay? That's why they always talk about the South shall rise again. That flag is ours. This symbolizes the resurrection. So here, Eliza Quitman, 1,036 acres, I said 69, but 1,036 acres of Maison de Rouge Grant. Colf and Harrison, 16,000 acres, Maison Rouge Grant. Sarah Taylor, 3,600 acres, Maison Rouge Grant. Henry Turner, 5,519 acres, Maison Rouge Grant. Henry Turner Sr., 1,928 acres, Maison Rouge Grant. C.G. Hershey, 2,800 acres of Maison Rouge Grant. Walkoff and Harrison, 16,000 acres of Maison Rouge Grant. And Daniel W. Cox, 10,000 acres of Maison Rouge Grant. This is 68,883 acres of land. Yeah. No, this is the land that shows and proves that the United States never owned it. And this is just a fraction of land. Like I said, it goes up to over 30 million acres. So this is why Prophet Noble Drew Ali was so important, and the reason why they had to kill him. After he went in 1928 to Havana, Cuba, and found out that he was part of the vast land estate. Yeah, that's when he found out in 1928 that he was part of this vast land estate. That's when they killed him less than a year later. Right. Okay. Because he's the crown prince. Yeah, I'm one of them. Exactly, I'm one of them. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We still here. They can't kill all the niggas. We baby kids. You know what I'm saying? So this shows you, and this is coming from the state of Louisiana. They showed and proved that, look, we don't own this shit here. This is who owned it. Y'all niggas own it. But now what y'all gonna do? Y'all ain't got no damn military to get these. You don't got to have a military. I would send a goddamn legal notice to each and every one of people who's on my land and give them. No, I ain't. Don't even evacuate. pay me for setting on my land. In other words, pay me rent, lot rent. That isn't that what they do?
That's what they do, yeah.
Right. You put a trailer on somebody else's land, you got to pay them monthly lot rent. So if you put a house on my fucking land and I can prove that this is my land, pay me rent.
You don't own the land.
Right. Because guess what? I can show you right now that Eliza Turner is my great, great, great aunt. Yep. She's my great, great, great aunt. She's my third great aunt.
That's why it's important. The DNA is so important.
That's why DNA is so fucking important.
That's right.
Because it tells you who you are.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. But people don't want to know. Niggas don't want to know this shit. This is just too fucking much.
Free us.
Oh shit. But right here, this is the United States versus the Turner heirs. This is what it says. Check this out. You're gonna go to the last paragraph.
They was winning all their court cases too.
Mm-hmm. This was 1848. When niggas supposed to been in slavery.
When we was dumb.
Right. We was dumb and we was supposed to be in slavery. This is 1848. And we went in court cases at the Supreme Court against the cracker in his own court system.
That's how you know it was really theirs.
That's how you know it was ours. It's because we won the goddamn cases. And we weren't slaves, obviously, because guess what? Slaves could not have did what? Slaves could not have sued the fucking United States in 18. Right. That's what they told us. Well, niggas can't read. Niggas can't write. So how in the hell did they get a case all the way up to fucking damn United States Supreme Court and won? Twice. Twice. 1848. Niggas was not released from slavery until 1865, allegedly. You see how important this shit is? But people aren't paying attention. Too busy trying to deny this shit when the shit is in your face.
Corporate slave now.
Hmm?
How would you know?
Corporate slave now as well.
Right. So here, United States versus the Turner heirs, and just the last paragraph, as an act to provide for the adjustment of the land claim within the state of Minnesota. See, this is how you know that it's more than just one state, which is Louisiana, which is the bottom part, well, the middle portion to the top portion of Louisiana, which is the 68,000 acres of land. This is the states that they tell you that our shit is situated in. Check this out. Within the states of Missouri, Arkansas, and Louisiana, and in those parts of the states of Mississippi, Alabama. Oh yeah, goddamn it, yeah, and it's all ours.
You said ours, you mean your family.
Not just our family. Washita was not just our family. Washita was a group of us, according to what is known. Yeah, if you're a Washington, if you're a Turner, you're a Drew, you're Jackson, if you're a Butler, if you
That's what the word comes from.
no, it comes from this information. That's the name of the land.
Okay.
Yeah. The name Washita comes from the land, our connection to the land. It's gonna tell you Washita, right? The word Washita is actually in the documentation, but it's in United States versus the heirs of Turner. Okay. So here, right, Alabama, right. So states of Mississippi and Alabama south of 31st degrees of north latitude and between the Mississippi and the Pardio rivers, doeth order, adjudge, and decree, and that it is hereby ordered and adjudged and decreed that the petitioners, Sarah Turner, Eliza Turner, Henry Turner, and George Washington Turner are the true and lawful owners of and have good title against the United States, the defendants in and to all the lands and inheritments claimed by them in their mid petition, which lands are described as follow on a map or survey executed on the 27th March, 1820, by one John de Nassau, by order of the Surveyor General of the United States, south of the Tennessee River, which map is marked Exhibit A, to wit, lost numbers 4, 5, 6, and 9 lays on both sides of the river Washita. And within tracks numbers 1 and 2 of said grant and survey, a lot numbers, you see? Also lots numbers, see? That's what I'm talking about. You on my lot. So you send them an invoice for rental of my land. You're using my land. You need to pay me my land rent, my lot rent. You see? So we ain't got to tell them to get there. We ain't got to tell them to get off. Just pay me, you. I can prove that the shit is mine. You know what I'm saying? No, Michael Jackson and said the girl is mine. No, the land is mine. Doom, 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 doom. Because the doggone land is mine. It's mine. Oh, it's mine. The land is mine. All right, so right there, that proves, and this is, once again, Eliza Turner is the mother of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So I haven't even got the Prophet Noble Drew Ali yet, right, because we still dealing with his family and the reason why he was such an instrumental force to us. Okay, so here's the actual grant of the Maison de Rouge. Okay, I won't read all of that. We'll keep it flowing. All right. All right. So we talked about Masonry. So we talk about the first 3 degrees of Freemasonry. You have inter-apprentice, you have fellow craftsman, and then you have master mason. Prophet Noble Drew Ali feet is in the shape of master mason, which is the heels together at a 45-degree angle. However, his hand is not inside his bosom. Unlike in Freemason and slave masonry, they have their hand inside their bosom, which showed that they're copying after Moses. Moses was told to put his hand in his bosom, and when he put his hand out, it was white like snow. In other words, it was leprosy. He put his hand back in, God turned his hand back black as it was. Do you remember that story?
In the book of second book.
That's in the Old Testament. Right. Exactly. Yep, in the Old Testament. All right, so Prophet Noble Drew Ali hand is not inside, his hand is out. His hand is out right there. Like, they're going to conceal the truth, I'm going to reveal the truth. Right. All right? So, this is what we're talking about. So, the moral, Washita deduct among your Moors, lay claim to the following land by and through bloodline. Also, not just the lands that I made mention of, but also the De Bourbon Estate, also known as the Imperial International Estate of the Bourbon-Habsburg Empire, which is in Europe, which includes Western Europe, the Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, Switzerland, Germany, Italy, Sicily, Nepal, Sardinia, Spain, and Portugal, as well as most of North America and the Caribbean, in addition to Central and South America, and all of North America west of the Imperial Demarcation line, 1713, or the British Royal Proclamation line of 1763. This is a breakdown of the royal imperial bloodline for the Washita Moors. The young heiress to the French throne, King Louis XVII, married the young heiress to the Washita Tournica throne, Annie Maria. Their imperial marriage would become official in 1795, pursuant to the conveyance of the Spanish land grants bestowed upon the young heir, King Louis XVII, and his young wife and heiress, Annie Maria. These two will receive the imperial Spanish land grant of 1763. As a recipient of both, all right, the 1762 and 1795 Spanish land grants, King Louis XVII became known as the Marquis de Maison Rouge, owner of Louisiana and Florida, as well as those other lands in between Florida and Louisiana, which were Alabama, Mississippi, Missouri, and it keeps going on. So here it says, upon the death of Annie Maria and King Louis XVII, the title of Louisiana, Delphi, and the regent, Marquis de Maison Rouge, was conveyed to the next in line to the imperial French crown, Louis Francis Joseph de Bourbon, Prince de Conti, the son of Louis Francis de Bourbon, Prince de Conti, all right, and the daughter of Annie Maria. King Louis XVII married Louis Francis Joseph de Bourbon, Prince de Conti. At the second Marquis de Maison Rouge, Louis Francis Joseph de Bourbon became the recipient of both the imperial Spanish land grant of 1762 and the Spanish land grant of Monroe, Louisiana. Within the death of Joseph de Bourbon, the eldest son, Henry Joseph Turner, inherited the Marquis de Maison Rouge. Henry Joseph Turner, remember we just talked about him, he was the Henry Joseph Turner heirs versus the United States. He's the one who proved that the land is not yours. Became the recipient of 1762 and 1795 imperial Spanish land grants, making him the third Marquis de Maison Rouge. Henry Joseph Turner married Sarah Tournica Turner, and from this union came their eldest son, Joseph Henry Turner, the fourth Marquis de Maison Rouge. Here it is. Prophet Noble Drew Ali was the fifth Marquis de Maison Rouge. His mother, Eliza, a daughter of Sarah Tournica, and Henry Joseph Turner. You see? So he was the fifth. Corella Turner, sister, is the sister of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and Corella's son, John Gaston, is married to a direct descendant of Annie Maria, and King Joseph XVII, well, so is he. Verdiasi Tierra Washita, Tierra Tournica Washita El-Bey. Empress Verdiasi is a sovereign. Her union with John Gaston makes him the sixth Marquis de Maison Rouge. Okay. Now, her son, Frederick Joe or Joseph Washita or Washita, is the seventh Marquis de Maison Rouge. Upon his death, the title would come to me as the eighth Marquis of de Maison Rouge, the estate. Okay? Huh? So here, the royal imperial bloodline has never been broken. Therefore, ownership of most of North America and other lands belong to Verdiasi Tierra Washita and her husband, the sixth Marquis de Maison Rouge, John Gaston. John Gaston is my first cousin, 3 times removed. Prophet Noble Drew Ali is my first cousin, 4 times removed. All right. Tierra Washita, who is known as the Verdiasi, she is my second cousin, 3 times removed. All right. So here, John Jay, the first Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, once said, those who own the country ought to govern it. Well, now they realize who the real owners are. Because right now they got all these de factos running around here. The de facto government known as the United States, which is nothing more than a mere corporation. They got these Indians on reservations believing that they're the First Nation. and they on fucking reservations, and they being controlled by agencies such as the FBI, the Secretary of Interior Defense, you know what I'm saying, of the Interior Department, the IGCW, the GRA, which is the I mean, they being controlled by all these agencies. You know what I mean? So hell, some of them even be controlled because of the gaming system called class 3. They're being controlled by the damn state too. Right. Bingo, they're not sovereign. So, we have the best chance of doing this because we can prove the land grants, we can prove the leadership connections, the heritage connections, all of these things can be proven. So it says right here, I've proven that the Washita owns most of North America and lands elsewhere, that the property rights of their current queen and king, Veriasi Tierra Washita, and her husband, Six Marquis de Maison Rouge, John Gaston, therefore shall govern it according to Supreme Court Justice John Jay. Okay. So I come down and we'll read more. So another thing that we got to fix is that Prophet Noble Drew Ali first name is not Timothy. So anybody still calling him Timothy, have not been reading and studying the updated information. His real name is Thomas. His name is Thomas Drew. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the 5th Royal Regent, Marquis de Maison Rouge Estate. All right. Some say he was born January the 8th, 1886 in North Carolina. Some say he was born in Norfolk, Virginia. We know for sure that his mother was born in North Carolina, Eliza Turner. Okay. She left her relatives here. I'm one of them. Okay. So here, right here, I give a breakdown from Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Timothy, as they call him, misnomer Timothy Drew. His real name is Thomas Drew. This is what it says. If you go to Journal of Race, Ethnicity, and Religion, before the Feds, the life and times of Drew Ali, 1886 to 1924, by Fatih Ali Adet. It says, newly unearthed census and city records disclose the dogmatic Moorish Science Temple of America narration of Drew's genealogy roots were spacious. Drew Ali was born Thomas Drew on January the 8th, 1886 in Norfolk, Virginia. By 1898, he was adopted by James Washington Drew and Lucy Drew, an African-American couple. We weren't even going by African-American in no damn 1900s, yo. Stop. Anyway, residence at 411 Princess Anne Avenue in Norfolk, Virginia. All right. As a teenager, the illiterate Drew worked as a common laborer, rural farmer hand, and wharf longshoreman in the southern port city to supplement his adopted parents' wages. However, like many Black Norfolk laborers, the Drews were paid little and could not catapult themselves into the Black bourgeoisie class. So the upper middle class to the rich middle class. As such, Drew explored new prospects in other cities, plying his trade first as a porter in Richmond, Virginia in 1916, and then as a shipyard laborer for the Submarine Boat Corporation in Newark, New Jersey, answering America's call to the industrial war effort. On September the 12th, 1918, Drew reported to a public school in Bruce Street, Newark, New Jersey, for the third draft reservation, as part of the volunteer conscript American Army in the Great War. A routine medical examination revealed badly burnt forearm muscles, and Drew consequently failed the criteria for induction. After World War I, the company folded, leaving Drew unemployed. In large part between 1916 and 1923, Drew resided in 181 Warren Street, Newark, New Jersey, together with Louisa Gaines, a married Virginian, in a mixed neighborhood. Drew alternated between working in a barber shop and a street preacher. From the latter, Drew attired himself in a loosely fitting multicolored gown, covered his head with a brilliant purple hood, and cosmetically redesigned himself as Professor Thomas Drew, the Egyptian adept student, an East Indian from Virginia who ate nails and cured blind soldiers. His vast clientele sought him for a wide range of services, including crystal gazing, advice of love affairs, and Eastern wisdom, such as the forgotten 18 years of Jesus Christ's life. Okay. So here we have from the Handbook of Islamic Sects and Movements by Muhammad Upal and Carol Klasak. However we pronounce that name, it's hard to see. But here it is, Thomas Drew, adopted son. It says it right on here, adopted son of James Drew and Lucy Drew. Now, James Drew and Lucy Drew happen to be my relatives. His name is James Lavelle Drew, or James Washington Drew, and he's my second great uncle, great grand uncle. Yep, my second great grand uncle. And Louise, or Lucy, she's my second great grand aunt. All right. And this is where, and the brother to Lucy is Charles Porter Mosley Sr. His son is Charles Mosley Bey Jr., all right, who is known as the founder of the Clock of Destiny, Moorish National Order of the Great Seal, all right, known as C.M. Bey. Mosley Bey, Charles Mosley Bey. All right, so all right, this is Grand Sheikh Brother Hamid Anderson L. and Assistant Grand Sheikh Brother James A.L. And this is what Brother Hamid Anderson L. said. He says, when I became a member in March 1928, the charter on the walls in the meeting hall read, Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the World. So see, the Temple Moors don't even reveal that name. He had to reveal that name. He says, our nationality card read Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the World. Later on in that year of 1928, the prophet said that he had to strike his charters, but that in most of his temples he had a strip of paper which read Moorish Science Temple of America. And this was pasted on the charter, covering up Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the World. There was a few Moorish charters that he did not touch, one in Chicago, one in Charleston, West Virginia. And at that time, the questionnaire and the Quran read Moorish Holy Temple of Science. This is what Brother Hamid Anderson L. spoke of. This is him to the left. All right, so we know at one time, the Moorish Science Temple of America and the Moorish Holy Temple of Science all were together, because here it is. This is an excerpt from the original 1934 rules and regulations, and they both are together. This is what was known as the what we call the Moorish Divine and National Movement. The Moorish Divine portion, which is the religious portion, is the Moral Science Temple of America. The national portion is the civic portion, which is the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. All right. This is what Prophet Noble Ali also said. He said the Moors was living up and down the Mississippi River before the European man came here. And the Moors are the offsprings of kings and queens. Well, he also said, I am the fifth and the last prophet, and I am 5 times more powerful than I was before. Well, remember, we just told you that he was the 5th royal regent of the Maison de Rouge. All right, which is the estate, the land in which we made mention of. The 1,036 acres from his mother, Eliza Turner, on basically into the whole family, which is 68,883 acres of land. And here we have a picture of actually all the way from Florida, Alabama, into Mississippi, on up into Missouri, Arkansas, all these different places, on up into almost the whole of Canada. 30 million acres of land, and you can see it right here. Right here, look at that. Look at that. That's what they call the Louisiana Purchase. Look at that.
All in purple, right?
All this, yeah, all this in purple.
That never happened.
Look at that. This was an 8th grade history book, social science book, this picture. Yeah.
I'm sure it is. They teach a lot of
Mhm. All right, so what led up to the destruction of the temple structure? Well, Prophet Noble Ali started making money. He became a millionaire. People became jealous of him. One person who became jealous of him was Brother Claude Green Bey, who ended up quitting being his business manager. He quit his post. Really, why he quit his post is because he was in love with Prophet Noble Ali's wife, Pearl Ali. All right, this is them here.
Who's that?
This is Claude Green. I believe this is Claude Green right here. This is Pearl Ali right here. So in 1929, Drew Ali had created a multi-million-dollar empire. Jealousy provoked several of his Moral Science Temple high-level businessmen. One of his officers, Sheikh Claude Green Bey, accused Drew Ali of wasting MST revenue on himself and a succession of women. One Drew Ali's wives was a lady that Green Bey admired and loved, Pearl Drew Ali. It is alleged that her and Claude Green Bey had an affair. There was a special meeting held at the Supreme Grand Council where at least 4 members was immediately removed, having all of their credentials removed. It was Brother James Lomax Bey, as he was known. His Bey came off his name. Brother Claude D. Green Bey came off his name. Sarah Pearl Drew Ali supposedly came off her name, but particular temple still acknowledged her. All right, even though this took place and she was essentially the cause of Prophet Noble Ali's death. Brother Small Bey. All right, right here, you know that there was tension going on because you look at the damn picture. Look at the way that Prophet Drew Ali is looking at Pearl Ali. Y'all see that? Can y'all really see it? And why do he have the flag, United States flag backwards, the banner backwards, and then the Moorish flag upside down? This is symbolic to a time of distress.
It is backwards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is symbolic to a time of distress. This is a Masonic code, sign of distress. All right. All right. Also, right here at this meeting, Prophet Noble Ali raised his hands. And so a struggle for power erupted between Ali and his lieutenant, Sheikh Claude Green. And on March 12th, 1929, Claude Green Bey, who was said to have been having relations with Pearl Ali, the wife of Drew Ali, staged a coup to pronounce himself the Grand Sheikh, the Supreme Grand Sheikh, stripping Drew headquarters of all files and furniture and setting up a rival temple at the Unity House on the north side of Chicago, where he began to call for the assassination of all whites and all Moors who objected to his leadership. He declared himself Grand Sheikh and took a number of Drew Ali's followers along with him. The split quickly became extremely acrimonious. I believe that's how acrimonious. And a short time later, Green was stabbed to death and shot up in the back of Unity Hall in the fucking alley. Okay? He ran his mouth too fucking much. Drew imported some thugs, including Ira Johnson Bey from Pittsburgh to quell the revolt, the rebellion. All right? 3 days later, Green declared himself Grand Sheikh and took a number of Drew's followers with him. However, after he got stabbed up, the niggas ran or they was coming back, you know what I'm saying? So here it says that he was shot and stabbed to death in the alleyway behind Unity Hall. Drew was out of the town at the time, allegedly, as he was dealing with Supreme Grand Governor Lomax Bey, who becomes Professor Ezzeldin Muhammad, who left during this time period, but he was one of the ones who was backing Claude Green Bey for the takeover. Okay? It is his temple that the Nation of Islam grew out of, Temple number 4 in Detroit. Temple number 4 in Detroit became part of what is known as Allah's Temple of Islam number 1, which is the Nation of Islam. The first temple of the Nation of Islam actually was the temple, the fourth temple of Prophet Noble Ali's Moorish Science Temple of America. Okay, so the Nation of Islam is a growth from out of the Moorish Science Temple. So with Claude Green getting killed, you had other people trying to jock for position. After the death of Prophet Noble Ali, Ira Johnson steps on the scene. He starts trying to run shit. Well, I don't know if he killed him. I can't verify that. But there was a lot of them jocking that shit. Because you got Charles Kirkman Bey, who was jocking, all right? And he comes out the big winner, even though Ira Johnson Bey had his ass kidnapped. The police came, busted into the house, got his monkey ass, you know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, Charles Kirkman Bey breaks off and forms his own Moorish Science Temple of America, Inc., Incorporated, in 1934. This is not the same Moorish Science Temple of America in which that Prophet Noble Ali formed, because that was dissolved because these niggas acted such a goddamn fool having shootouts with police in Chicago. Oh, hell yeah. Right. That's why they know Moors was never the ones to fuck around. Because once we knew our nationality, knew who we were, and knew that we, had some type of land tie, we protected it. You know what I mean? So here, allegedly, this is Lomax Muhammad, Lomax Bey, former member. He was the head of Temple number 4. And he leaves in the 1930s, go to Egypt, and he founds Adudne, Alahi Universal Arabic Association, which is a Sunni organization. But Lomax Bey received this letter from Prophet Noble Ali, And he said, "Dear brother, be very careful of propaganda and news that you hear. There's a certain movement from the churches to destroy our movement and to dishonor me, and that there are men paid by both Europeans and Asiatics and all outside letters that you receive. Let me know the message. Then I will know that you are Moor, and I will favor Moors." All right? We Moors must stand in unit. We stand together according to the deeds and the attention, and and the actions, and not by words of lips. This letter is to be read to the temple. All right. So he was talking about this letter being read to the temple, and he was already warning Brother Lomax Bey what was getting ready to happen. All right. So the first temple of the Nation of Islam was set up in 632 Livingston Street, Detroit, Michigan. This is where temple number 4 was located at, in which that Lomax Bey was once over under the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. All right. So after removing known traitors from office, or either they got killed and from the enrollment, including Sarah, Sister Pearl Drew, the Prophet established the Supreme Grand Council and focused more upon his other wife, who was Sister Mary Drew Ali. The Prophet passed formed on Saturday, July the 20th, 1929, at his home at 3603 Indiana Avenue at 10:10 p.m. At his bedside was Dr. Clarence Payne Elder, the attorney. Payne, now Dr. Clarence Payne L is the one who wrote up his death certificate.
So that was a lie when they said he died from tuberculosis.
He's Dr. Clarence Payne L is the one who wrote that shit. He wrote that shit. All right. That he had pneumonia, tuberculosis, bronchitis, all that shit. He had all that shit. Shit that he was curing for years. He had all that shit and died from it.
There was no sign of him having health problems. Right?
That's what was said. Some members said that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't there. I believe that he got poisoned.
Right.
Personally.
Right.
Sure.
All right. So here, attorney Aaron Payne, his son, Aaron Payne L. All right. Brother, his father-in-law, brother Foreman Bey, and Prophet's wife, Sarah Mary Drew Ali. Dr. Clarence Payne L. filed the death certificate, which proclaimed that the Prophet died of tuberculosis bronchopneumonia, which I've seen a copy of, and I have a copy of it actually. I have it on the website. The Prophet's body was taken to Frank Edward Funeral Parlor at 4136 Michigan Ave, and the funeral services was held on Friday, July the 26th, 1929 at 1:30 p.m. in a Pantheon Temple on 37th Place and State Street. The Prophet's body was laid to rest at Burr Oak Cemetery, Acacia Lawn, Lot 44, Grave 7.
You said Burr Oak.
Mm-hmm. Burr Oak.
And that's in North Carolina.
Hmm?
That's here.
No. That was in Chicago.
Oh, that's where his body is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah. No. So, this is Ira Johnson Bey. All right. He aspired for leadership. Attorney Aaron Payne L., he aspired for leadership. In fact, the newspaper even said this: hundreds of Chicagoans attended the funeral last week of Noble Drew Ali, founder of the Morris Temple, who died at his home after a long illness. Services was held from Pantheon Temple, and the Prophet was buried at Burr Oak. Attorney Aaron Payne Ali, wearing white gloves at left, became the new head of the society. So they had him, Aaron Payne L., who was the attorney, as the new head of the Moral Science Temple of America. He had the charter. Everybody was jockeying to get that charter. He ends up giving the charter. All right. Well, the charter gets into the hands of other people, put it that way. I'll tell you who the people are in a minute. So they end up arresting Prophet Noble Ali before he died and put him in prison put him in jail for 2 weeks. Allegedly, the police beat him up. All right. Some say that's what happened. You know, police beat him up. That's what it said. But then, you know, allegedly he died of bronchitis, tuberculosis, and damn pneumonia.
That's what they say here.
Okay. You know, all three. You know, if it wasn't all three, I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have thought about that shit. But all three, huh? And then Clarence Payne L's son becomes the head of the organization because he ends up having a charter. But because there were so many threats against him, he gave up the charter, allegedly the charter was given to, obviously it wasn't the right charter. I don't know what happened, but supposedly it went to Charles Kirkman Bey. Allegedly, but obviously it didn't because Braswell Bey has the charter and he recognizes Emil, who was the Supreme Grand Sheikh, which Prophet Noble Ali actually did put in control of the Moral Science Temple of America. Okay. So Ira Johnson Bey was disappointed with Emil because he wasn't made the Grand Advisor. So instead, who was made the Grand Advisor? Charles Kirkman Bey at the 1929 convention. So he was trying to take charge of the movement. Started with the people who had the paperwork first and foremost. Ira Johnson Bey was arrested after a shootout with the police. They said over 100 bullets was fired at this shootout. And there were at least 3 dead, one being a follower of Ira Johnson Bey. It wasn't until later, while in prison, that he started calling himself gained a small following from there. And the person who helped with him being in jail at the time actually was the former chauffeur of Prophet Noble Ali, all right, known as John Givens L. Okay, so John Givens L and Ira Johnson Bey was close. So here it is. On September 1929, Ira Johnson Bey had more of his followers kidnap Charles Kirkman to get the certificate that Charles Kirkman had been given when appointed Grand Advisor, which is to be said that he had 21 governors' original title Grand Sheikh's signatures upon it. From the temple, 21 temples. He also claimed to possess Drew Ali's last will and testament. Ira Johnson Bey told them that Brother Kirkman Bey must be brought in, and I want you sheiks to go after him, and you better arm yourselves. And in case he refused to come voluntarily, you can use force and bring Kirkman Bey back dead or alive. And by all means, get the certificate. This is what Ira Johnson Bey told them niggas. They went to Charles Kirkman Bey house at 442 West Elm Street and took, well, some say 1002 West Elm Street, and took him right in front of his wife in broad daylight and forced him into a waiting taxi cab. Then they took him back to Ira Johnson Bey at 4137 South Parkway, right, home of Compton Johnson Bey. And some of these men was D. Francis Jackson Bey, Mosey Jackson Bey, Eugene Johnson Bey, who was the father, and J. Stevenson Bey, who was killed by who was the one who was killed during a 100 bullet shootout. It was Eugene Johnson Bey and Mosey Jackson Bey that actually took Charles Kirkman Bey physically out of his home. A member at 3140 Indiana Avenue told the police about Mosey Jackson Bey's involvement, and they went to the house at 1297 Townsend Street. From there, Mosey Jackson Bey led the police to where Charles Kirkman Bey was being held. It was Sergeant O'Toole that finally found Charles Kirkman Bey, who yelled out, "Don't shoot me. I'm the man that you're looking for. Please save me." So over 1,000 police officers surrounded Johnson's house because of that 100 bullet shootout. Johnson Bey refused to release Kirkman, and when police tried to break in and rescue him, a shootout ensued. 2 police officers and 1 more was killed. Subsequently, 63 Moors were arrested. Some say 64, because they finally brought in also Supreme Grand Sheikh Emilio. Johnson Bey was charged with murdering a police officer. So that's why Ira Johnson Bey was in prison. Now, Charles Kirkman Bey never deserved the position of Grand Advisor Moderator. He never deserved it because, number one, he was never made an adept. He was never made a sheikh. He was made an adept because he went with Prophet Noble Drew Ali in 1928 to Havana, Cuba, where the Prophet found out about the vast land estate. But he was never made a sheikh. And in order to run a position or a temple or a church, he had to have been a sheikh as well as also an adept. He was just one. So he was never a sheikh to begin with. So that's why I could never join Charles Kirkman Bey's group, because it started off fraudulently. And it's not the real Prophet Noble Drew Ali's Moral Science Temple of America, because that was dissolved. And this is why in 1934, he had to form his own Moral Science Temple of America, Inc., in order to do what he had to do. Man. So he held this office from 1934 until 1959 when he passed away. All right. So this is, you have the first Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator, Charles Kirkman Bey, which once again, he was never deserving of that title. That was forced upon him because he threatened the Supreme Grand Sheikh Emilio. The second Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator is Francis Nelson Bey of the Moral Science Temple of America, Inc., served from 1959 to 1962. The third Supreme Grand Moderator and Advisor is J. Blakely Bey of the Moral Science Temple of America, served from 1963 to 1971. Then Brother R. Love L. became the fourth Supreme Grand Moderator and Advisor and Moderator in 1971. Okay. Now, I tell you, when I first came into, well, it wasn't when I first came into the Moral Science Temple, but the first Moors that I met, which was in 1989, they was under Charles Kirkman Bey's group from out of Lumberton, North Carolina. And at that time, the Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator was Brother R. Love L. All right. They gave me Brother R. Love L's information. And around 2000, I end up calling Brother R. Love L. And he put me in contact with Sister Washington, or a sister in Washington, D.C., in which that she gave me my card, my nationality card, and my name, which was Baruch L. at that time. Baruch L means the light of God. Right. All right. So that title was later changed to Grand Sheikh and Moderator of the Moral Science Temple of America. And Brother Love L was duly elected as the Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator of Moral Science Temple of America. And in 1974, the title of his office was changed to Grand Sheikh of the Moral Science Temple of America, Moderator. Under the leadership of Brother R. Love L, the Moral Science Temple of America, Inc. grew to more than 260 temples and branches around the country. So because they was the largest group, they was able to utilize that title, Supreme Grand Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator to become the Grand Supreme Grand Sheikh, which never was a title holder, never meant the same position. All right. I mean, this is just truth for the matter. The present official, the present brother now who runs it is Brother R. Jones Bey. He's the Grand Sheikh and Moderator now. All right. Then you have another group, which is the group in which that John Givens ill, and John's Given ill. I told you he was basically real close with Allah El, who was known as Ira Johnson Bey. So 2 weeks after the death of Prophet Noble Ali, he comes walking in. Sheikh John Given ill publicly pronounced that he was the reincarnation of Prophet Noble Ali, August the 7th, 1929. At the meeting held at the Pantheon Hall, 3737 South State Street in Chicago, Given L was a native of Sumter, South Carolina. He was born December 6, 1904. All right. Upon coming of age, Given L traveled west, finally settling in Chicago, Illinois, May 14, 1925. Shortly after he embraced the teachings of Prophet Noble Ali and joined the Moors movement, after a brief period in the temple, he was initiated into his adept chamber. He also became the chauffeur mechanic for the Prophet Noble Ali. It was reported that one day while working with the Prophet's automobile shortly after his death, Given L fainted. When his eyes was examined, he had the sign of a star and crescent in one eye and a circle 7 in the other. Right then, they knew that the Prophet had reincarnated into his chauffeur. All right. Now, of course, this is all hearsay. All right. The fact that you have to use mysticism, and the fact is that, truthfully, he was an adept, but he never was a sheikh. So John Given L also disqualified is because he never was made a sheikh. He was a chauffeur, but he did go through a adept chamber. Same thing in which that Charles Kirkman Bey did. The only one who was actually in position to be Supreme Grand Sheikh, to sit in the seat near Prophet Noble Ali, or sit in the seat of Prophet Noble Ali, was Supreme Grand Sheikh Emily Ill, who was a sheikh as well as also an adept. Okay, that's it. Sorry, that's just what it is. All right. So from John Given Ill, we have the Grand Governor of Maryland, Moor Science Temple America, Dr. Rufus Germany Bey, who was made an adept by Prophet Noble Ali. However, it was alleged that he was never made a sheikh. See, once again. Then you have the Dingle brothers, Grand Sheikh Timothy Dingle L and his brother Grand Sheikh Richardson, or Richard Dingle L, both started out in John's Given L's Prophet Noble Ali's reincarnation portion. But Timothy Dingle L later became a member of the Grand Sheikh Rufus Jeremy Bey's group, where he started his own called the Resurrection Moor Science Temple Incorporated, headquartered at Temple 13. All right, number 1. Timothy Dingle L died in 1980, and from his group came at least 5 separate leaderships. You have Grand Sheikh L Dingle L, who took charge of Temple 13-1. You had Grand Sheikh William Rice Bey, Grand Sheikh Hayes Sample Bey, who is now calling himself the Prophet, You had Grand Sheikh Jerome Graham Bey. You had Grand Sheikh Clarence Panther L, all right, which I know Clarence Panther L, Grand Sheikh. The temple that is in Durham is close to, right, Grand Sheikh Jeremy Graham Bey, and also to Clarence Panther L. All right. They do acknowledge the empress, which is called the Federation Moral Science Temple of America in Durham, North Carolina. All right. Then we had Timothy Dingle L. Brother Richardson Dingle L., who started calling himself the reincarnated prophet, saying that after the prophet's spirit left John Given L., that it entered into himself and he formed the reincarnated Moral Science Temple of America, Inc. All right. This is a picture of Grand Sheik Richardson or Richard Dingle L. This is the former National Grand Sheik Clarence Ronald L., now known as Ramani Amanuel. He wrote the book, The Negro, the Black, the Moor. I used to talk to him on an occasion, all right, on numerous occasions. As a matter of fact, very often. He was one of my mentors. So the Grand Sheik in the early 30s and 40s, named Frederick Turner L., who was from one of the Turners, held a membership over 20,000 Moors from New York to Connecticut, and once huge Moorish properties, and was a welcome guest at the ruler of Egypt, where he visited the United States of North America. So when he visited the United States of North America, the ruler of Egypt, he would meet with Frederick Turner L. Then you have also Bratton Bay of the Moorish National Republic, which is Temple 13, which is the offshoot of the Dingle L brothers. This is Grand Sheik Jerome Graham Bey, who passed away, alayhi salam upon him, a few years ago. This is Federal Moral Science Temple of America Grand Sheik Clarence Panther L. Good brother. I felt positive vibes from this brother. All right, you have One Prophet, One Temple. You can read this book, Sheikh Charles Bey L., along with Brother Azim Hopkins Bey. This is all of them right here. A picture of Grand Sheik Graham Bey, Panther L., Brother Sheik Brown, as well as also Brother Sheik Azim Hopkins Bey. This is Emily Ill sitting in the seat of Prophet Noble Jura Ali, in which that showed that he's the only one in which that actually, he's the only one in which that actually was an adept, as well as was also not just an adept, but also a sheik. Okay? He's the only one. But because of his weak rulership, he couldn't get them Negroes back into order when they started them acting crazy and shit. 100 shootouts and all of that shit. He couldn't get them back in order. All right, so he lost that capability, and therefore all these other people came in and formed what they formed. And that's what happened. All right. Now, how we know that he was part of the Adept Chamber and he was a sheik is because right here, dear governors and officer, Islam, last night in the Adept Chamber during the second annual convention, Brother Millie L., the Supreme Grand Sheik, came forth and made the following statement and gave a brief explanation of the subject, the Supreme Council and its relations to the grand body of the Moral Science Temple of America. Okay. Right here, this is Emily Ill in his own words, and this is the last thing before we go. I joined the movement on January the 1st, 1927, and on June the 1st, 1927, I was approved of and appointed by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali as the first assistant chairman of the Moral Science Temple of America. On the 1st of August at the same year, I received the appointment from the Prophet as general chairman of the said Moral Science Temple of America and was made Grand Sheik under the Prophet. In February 1928, I wrote insurance for the Prophet in the year 1928. And at the close of the said year, in the first annual convention, the Divine Prophet Noble Drew Ali promoted me to the office of rank of Supreme Grand Sheik. This promotion by the prophet took place in the first setting of the Supreme Grand Council representing the Moor Science Temple of America. In a public meeting at 3140 Indiana Avenue in the month of November 1928, the prophet made it very plain in the three statements that he was the Supreme Grand Head. Brother Emily Ill was the Supreme Grand Sheikh next to me to the prophet, and that meant all the temples in this government, and there is but one Moor Science Temple of America, and that is mine, Noble Drew Ali's, at the official meeting in February 1929. So therefore, Kirkman Bey's temple definitely is out the picture. I was made shepherd of his flock by him and was told by him to feed his lambs and his sheep. All right, so that right there shows, all right? All right, any questions about any of the information in which that be going over as far as who Prophet Noble Drew Ali was and what he did? All right. All right. So, any questions from any questions from the room? Okay. Oh yeah, Noble Drew Ali was the first Dr. Sabi. Yeah, technically. You know, for us anyway, at least that we knew of, who was a herbalist, medicine man, a medicine doctor, however we want to call it. Yeah, that's true. Very true. Princess Naturella. You said Michael Jackson remix for the land. Yeah, you said need to get me in the studio. Okay, no doubt. All right. Yeah. All right, what else we got here? Tap the like button, please. Yes, everything is everything. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, tap the like button. Come on. All right. Hopefully, we gave you some information that you didn't know about before. All right. Just telling you what the hell happened. It's all right. We're going to get it. Yeah, green deceased. Yeah, no doubt about Yeah. Definitely. Oh, yeah. Kid from Kid and Play from Kid and Play look like Drew Ali with that mustache. Hell yeah, don't he? Yeah. There's that same type of mustache. I can't do it, yo. I'm sorry. He my first cousin, 4 times removed, and I still can't do that mustache. Okay, I can't do that mustache, yo. No doubt. All right, brother Cujo, you up on this piece? Kenneland Moores is in the building. He said, "Tell him, good doc." Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's just the truth of the matter. I love all the Moors, but I mean, we just got to say, the truth is the truth. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can see the chat, goddess. Alim El-Bey. Yep, I'm reading from the joint right now. Oh, the event was beautiful. Yeah. We had about 50 to 60 people that came out. We did the sweat lodge. We did the fire. We did lectures. Brother Annie was here. Yeah, of course you can ask a question, Aaliyah. Yeah. So we had a good time. We had a lot of lectures, a lot of qigong, tai chi, reiki. Yeah. We got it in. It was a beautiful session. Beautiful. We got another one coming up December the 13th, 14th, and 15th. Remember that. 13th, 14th, and 15th. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed this one.
Yeah. Make sure y'all come to that one. December the 13th, 14th, and 15th. I had to put it before Christmas. We couldn't, deal with that Christmas vibe, even though I know people say that they Moors and that they don't worship, acknowledge, they don't worship, Saint Nicholas and all of that. They don't celebrate Christmas, put up trees and shit. But best believe you gonna get your children some gifts. You gonna have to chill with them children. You have to do something with them children on those days. All right. So let's just be real about that. All right. Yeah. Astrotheology. Yeah. What about astrotheology, Brother Ramasu? Oh, you want that to be the next lecture? Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we can do that. The next lecture will be on astrotheology, no doubt. Aaliyah, what's your question, goddess? All right. Connecticut, the Connecticut Moors are in the building, no doubt. Appreciate y'all. Islam. Okay, well, I guess you ain't gonna ask your question, goddess. Well, I guess you have to ask. What's the question you asked, Aaliyah? I didn't see the question. Did they take? Oh, here it is. Yes, I see it. Yes, the original temples. What were the application process? Did they retake BC or no? No. There was no birth certificates and no social security cards during that time period. That wasn't an active thing during that time period. Okay. So no, they didn't utilize neither one of those. My great grandmother was born in 1903.
Your great.
Yeah, my great grandmother. She was born in 1903. All right. She died in 2004. She was 101 years old. Okay. Her birthday was in the Bible. And all of the children birthdays and the time they was born and all of that was in the Bible. I remember singing it as a child because I would oftentimes go back to that Bible and read it. My family said that she lived to be 99 years old. I was like, no. I said, I seen great grandma's family Bible, and it said she was born in 1903. You see what I'm saying? But she died in 2004. Okay. So that's what they used to do. They used to put it in the Bible. All right. So there was no birth certificate or social security card, so they didn't have to contend with that. So no, that was never part of the process, Malaya. Okay. What was part of the process was documenting your children's birth and everything during that time period. And that was also part of the always was part of that process. Your baptismal records, your live claim birth records, all of that was your Bible. Because the Bible, your family's Bible, it would document when you was born and the special things in which that took place in your life. When you graduated kindergarten, when you first took your walk, you know what I'm saying? When you first got your ass on the potty and you pissed and shit, you know what I'm saying? When you first talked, the first words that you said, all of that was once in the Bible. All right, that was once in the Bible. So all of that was in the Bible at one time. And I know that because my great grandmother had her Bible and all of her children, times of birth, names, all that information was right there being recorded, and it was in the Bible. All right. So if you want to be special, get you a Bible or a Quran with a family listing, and you can damn blank pages in it, and you can start recording all your family information and history right up in there. Or take a DNA test like I had to, and how I found out all this information. All right, because remember, this is about know thyself. How can you know yourself if you don't know your bloodline?
Right.
If you don't know your heritage, you don't know your lineage. It just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Okay, so that's one of the special things that we have to do. All right, but I'm going to say, Eha Te Washito East to everyone. Thank you for coming on, and we out, y'all.
Good lecture.